All right, so let's see. Let's do a quick sound check to make sure that everybody can hear. Let's see. How about now? We're doing a quick sound check to make sure that everything is working. We had a couple issues with the audio, but should be fine now. Perfect. All right. Well, then, thank you everybody for joining today. I think we just had to get it started a little bit, but thank you everybody for already joining. We're gonna give a quick run up of the for session 2 of our HOPR community call. As you can see in the stream, you already see we have up and running the agenda for today. We already overlap a little bit on some of the updates, but that is fine. We would like to introduce some of the updates that we have been working for the past few weeks within HOPR. Particularly, we would like to share with you and introduce you what we've done with something called HOPR Chatbot, which is a small bot that is connected with our HOPR Chat, which we already picked up a little bit last week. We will also would like to introduce what it's called the HOPR Web Server API, pretty much a wrapper around HOPR, the HOPR as a protocol, and for HOPR nodes. We will also describe a little bit more about it. And last but not least, we would also like to share some fun experiments we're doing with a small tool called HOPR MazeBot. This is also inspired in an open source tool by GitHub. And in general, that's what we're gonna be playing later today with it for some sweet die. So if you are able to just join it today, or you're just picking up learning about HOPR, you'll get a very good chance to not only learn about the technology, but also play around with it and be able to definitely, play some games, have some fun, and win some digital money. All right, so let's get started. Just as a quick rundown. For people that have that are just learning about HOPR, perhaps you join us in our Twitter channel or on Telegram or Reddit, or you're just learning and joining today. Just giving a very quick introduction about HOPR. HOPR is a privacy layer protocol on top of the blockchain. We're also developing some technologies on top of complicated or cryptographic protocols on top of the using different various Sphinx packet formats, which is we have more information and you can learn more about it in the docs.hoprnet.org. If you haven't followed our progress, or if you are just picking up the technology, we very highly recommend to go through the quick start. This is you can just go through hoprnet.org, and then that will walk you through how to install HOPR Chat. So HOPR Chat is a utility. It looks more or less like this. It's a small utility. It's kind of like our initial proof of concept that allows anybody to use the HOPR protocol to communicate with other people. And through the development of the HOPR protocol, we're going to be using it multiple times in order to learn and interact with HOPR, with some of the HOPR products and HOPR services. Just as a small reminder, most of our communication, particularly not only with rewards, but within the live stream, is going to be doing through your HOPR address. So it's very important that if you're running a node during the duration of this stream, you make sure that you are very aware of your HOPR address. I'm gonna highlight it how it looks. It looks very similar to this. It starts with like a 16 UI2, and it ends up with a bunch of characters. Please, during the duration of the stream, particularly on the games, make sure that you are very aware of your address, as we're going to be using it multiple times. And last but not least, some of the HOPR association team members are going to be joining in the stream, both in the Telegram channel, on Twitter, on Reddit. Make sure to, if you have any questions, we're going to have some spaces for some questions. If you have any suggestions or anything on the making, we'll make some spaces for that. All right, so let's get quickly started to not go run down a little bit, and let's do a very quick introduction to what it's called the HOPR Chat bot. So if you see in the screen, you're gonna see a bunch of things going on there. But in general, the first thing that we make, as I mentioned, we have or run or you need to run the HOPR Chat. So I'm just gonna highlight it again in case you haven't run it. If you haven't downloaded yet, make sure to go to hoppernet.org/quickstart. You also get you started. And as soon as you open HOPR Chat, you're able to get your address with inside, right? So remember, we have this small command that it's called my address. So you have over here, I have this is what a HOPR Chat instance looks like. Of course, in my machine has a little bit of red, but this red small window that is showing up on my screen is an instance of HOPR Chat. I'm just running HOPR Chat in my screen, and I'm running this command that is called my address. But my address shows me, as I mentioned it before, or little HOPR address that it's able to identify ourselves privately, right? So this is the entire idea of the project. We are developing a private solution that anybody can connect and talk and reach to each other. We're building a protocol so that is not only isolated, it's not only for this small chat application, but can be applied for everything. Right now, the chat, which is the most easy to understand concept that we're working with, is the one that we're going to be using. But HOPR as a protocol is going to be leveraged in multiple technologies, right? So in general, just to get started for the HOPR chatbot, the instructions is you need to send a message to the address below in the format of HOPR chatbot, and then add the address that you has been returned for your address. So we're gonna do that over here. So my address, I'm gonna type it again. My address is here. It ends up in as SRZ. I think everybody can see it. I'm just gonna put it over here in the chat just for reference, just for you to have an idea. Let's call it HOPR Chat Bot, just so you're able to send some messages. In general, when you copy, you need to type send and the address of the HOPR chatbot, right? So we're gonna paste that, and then I'm gonna paste as a message my own address. The main reason why we need to do that, I press enter and a bunch of things happen, and I will explain very quickly. But the main reason why we need to paste our address is right now as a design, we do not know who is sending a message, right? So we go back a little bit on the whole privacy topic. HOPR is designed with privacy in mind. So as of today, we are making in a way that messages can be sent in one direction, but you do not know who is sending the message. The HOPR chat bot that we have over here, it takes one small address, it takes your address, and then it returns it back a small random series of sentences, right? So we're gonna do it again. Let me see. I'm gonna send the address. In this case, it ends with DYE. And I'm gonna paste my own address, right? So again, I get another message. It says hateful crimson chicken. Bear in mind, all these messages are random. They might have make funny sentences, but they are completely and entirely random. We can see over here, this is the logs for chatbots. So what I'm already seeing is for people that are trying to connect, that are trying to send messages. Please bear in mind that just make sure that you have downloaded. We're using the same version that we downloaded last time, so you don't need to upgrade. But sometimes it might take a little bit of time. In case you are troubling finding the HOPR chatbot, please make sure to run the crawl command that will help you to get a more in-depth view of the network. And also, in case you are struggling, you can also have the ping command, which will tell you whether you are able to see that node or not. This particular case, sometimes some of the nodes, being able to reach some of the nodes takes a little bit of time, so bear in mind that can be part of the experience, right? So let me just, before we move on, let's really quickly see. We already have some people joining. Perfect, thank you for joining. Before we move on to the next part, I will see if there's any questions. Seems that there's no any questions, so we can now move to the HOPR web server. One last comment in that regard. The HOPR chatbot is going to be quickly adapted and introduced as part of our documentation. In the past, to test HOPR Chat, you needed to either have someone connected or send a message. But now with the HOPR chatbot, you can verify that you are connected by just sending a message to the chatbot. So if everything is fine, then you will be able to send a message, and that will allow us to actually get familiar with the system and understand if you're actually getting it back. So let's move on now. Perfect. So if you see my screen, you will see what it's now the HOPR web server, and this is another major progress for the HOPR for the HOPR team. In general, so the HOPR web server is nothing else but a gRPC server. So this is very similar to what a lot of people call a REST server or an API server, that it's able to wrap a HOPR node via protobuf enabled API. So there's a lot of technical terms, but in reality, what it's very simple to understand is that we have successfully created a very simple API for anybody to interact with a HOPR node. So this is something that is not only very interesting because it opens the door for pretty much doing a lot of operations with a HOPR node, but it also gives us the capability to integrate with pretty much any stream of data, right? So you have been following us in our Twitter, in our Telegram channel, you know that we have done maybe 1 or 2 partnerships over there, perhaps something more to come. But in general, what we're trying to do is we're trying to provide a layer that allows to communicate with any amount of data, right? So by creating this API, we pretty much are giving any company the capability to talk with a HOPR node and provide some privacy enabled communication channel between different parties, right? So the HOPR server, as all our technology, is open source. You can find it in our GitHub, which is github.com/hoprnet/hoprcore. You can find in a small folder called server, you will find all the specifications for a web server. We have now, there's more technical information. If you are a developer, if you have a technical background, you can see a little bit of the work over here and how to interact with it or even run it locally yourself. But right now what we wanted to show you, it's a little bit of the interoperability between a web server and a HOPR chat, right? So up here in my dark screen, let me make it a little bit bigger so you can see it. There you go. Over here. So on up top, I have a HOPR web server up and running. Then in the red one, I have a HOPR chat server up and running, right? So the way our API works, so a little bit on the bottom left is Bloom RPC, which is a small client that allows to communicate with a web server, particularly gRPC enabled servers. If you ever talk with any API, you perhaps are familiar with something called Postman or multiple client applications that allow you to talk with these APIs. This is a very similar tool, right? So right now, what I do is for instance, I'm gonna ask the web server, okay, what is your address, right? So the response is almost immediate because of the nature of WebRPC. It gives us a very quick idea. I think it's very hard to see it, so I will try to make it quick. Describe it as much as possible. Pretty much what is showing up here is the address of the HOPR web server. For instance, if I try to query the status, you can see over here, I'm gonna make the web server a little bit over. You can see that this is changing, right? So via this interface, I'm calling a method of the server API, which allows me to understand and communicate with the web server. This is not only interesting in the fact that allows me to call with a server, but as I mentioned, we have the capability to have multiple servers to talk to each other, because it's at the end of the day, it's a protocol that allows to communicate with multiple things. It gives us the option to connect with multiple with different products and services that we're developing. The way to communicate the API, and just to give you a little bit of a reference, I'm going to you have more instructions about this on Bloom RPC, but we're using something that is called protos. Protos are nothing but a fancy word for describing a Google sponsor definition of data structures. So we have here this particular information that allows us to update the way we connect to the server. This can be downloaded and all the instructions are in here, but pretty much gives us a very good idea of how to interact with a web server. So before we move on to a more fun part, I'm just gonna do a quick example of how these two small components are talking to each other, right? So we have, this is the address of the web server. So for instance, I'm gonna do a quick crawl on the service. Let me see. Let's see. Ooh, what is the address of this bad boy? I think is that correct? Yeah, let me see. Up there. I think this one might be on. All right. So we need to make sure that we listen to this particular address. So let's just remove to this particular web server. I'll just be listening over here. All right. Gonna take a little bit of time. I need a little bit of a nudge. Sometimes what happens, for instance, in a particular case, is we need to do a little bit of a crawling to make sure that we're able to reach and get access to the server, to the network, making sure that we are visible to other nodes and kind of like provide a heartbeat so other nodes can find us. So let me get again back the address, otherwise we'll just move directly to the, let me see. All right, I think I have found myself. Let me see. Oh, that's me too small. We have, by now we have so many nodes that it's not so easy to find each other. So let me see. Oh, all right, we're gonna get back to this one. So let me just move because we're also a little bit over time. Let me see. We're gonna move to the next one for the Mazebot. So in this case, this is also another advancement that we have been doing for HOPR in general. We connected, so this is a little bit of an experiment of just to showcase the use case of the HOPR web server. So the HOPR web server is, as I mentioned, this API friendly system that is able to show us a little bit of the progress that we're doing, on the protocol on its own, to be able to communicate, to be able to send messages, to be able to be part of the testnet. It's also very important because now we, as you can see, or for people that are just joining or learning about it, we have now a testnet up and running where anybody can just send messages and data anonymously over there. And we will be slowly rolling some of the features that we're going to be adding, particularly in terms of payment channels, particularly in terms of being able to add some of the mixnet features that will allow us to enhance our privacy setup. But it's a small process to get. So just to give you an idea of how Mazebot looks like, right? So going back to the power, so the moment we have an API that can be communicated by pretty much any protocol that understands HOPR, we can now give some instructions and communicate with other services, right? So a lot of people have been asking us, okay, how this technology is able to actually, connect with something else. How is this technology able to send, something that it makes sense, or that it's able to do that? And pretty much our web server API is able to do that. So in this case, we're gonna connect, let me see, I'm gonna show you quickly. So what I just did, and it looks very simple, but it's actually very interesting. What I'm just doing in the red, so you see this red window, you have a HOPR Chat up and running. Let me just quickly paste the HOPR bot. Let me see, the Mazebot, HOPR Mazebot address. So the maze bot, the little maze bot, what it's doing is listening to all the messages that you send it. It needs to understand a very specific format. So what you need to do is you send a message with your address. So it takes your address. In this case, my address starts with, let me make this a little bit bigger. Okay. So you have your address over here, and then you give a direction. So in this case, the direction is UDLR, and it moves actually this little thing that it's on my screen. So I'm gonna try to do it again. I'm gonna now do a few moves now on my own. So I'm sending one move to the up. I'm gonna try to do now, and I'm gonna try to move it up again. And it's gonna show me that I made a bad move, right? So what that means is that if you can see in this little maze, I'm trying to tell it to go up, but of course that is not a valid direction, right? So I'm gonna try to now give it a good direction. So I'm gonna move it to the right, and voila. So what is happening behind the scenes is HOPR Chat is sending a message to this HOPR node. This HOPR node is being listened because it's a web server. So the API, this is a small maze that it's inspired by the GitHub mazebot. Shout out to GitHub for making all this amazing technology open source. What it's doing now is we adapted this small mazebot to listen to everything that is being done in this HOPR chat, right? So in this case, for instance, I'm sending an instruction to the right, and the bot can understand to go to the right. Now you can give it a try, because now it's listening to pretty much anybody that it's sending anything in the network. It allows you to pretty much do anything, right? This is just, again, this is just an example of what we're doing and what we're trying to do with HOPR and the possibilities that we have an option. So this is just the small update that we have been doing. Again, let me just very quickly see if I can get this one up and running. I'm gonna try with a small web server to see if we can send a small message to it. Yeah, by now we have so many nodes that it's not so easy anymore. All right. So we just wanted to share you a little bit of the updates on the progress we have been doing. All our work is open source, all the progress you can see it. And then we'll look a little bit on the HOPR architecture. We're a little bit on behind the schedule, so I'll try to speed up a little bit. And before we do, join a little bit on the check just very quickly on the HOPR Telegram to see what's going on. So some people are already pasting some of your HOPR address. You don't need to paste your HOPR address. You can au comptoir. You need to send messages using your HOPR node to some of the bots that we have here, right? So for instance, I'm gonna paste in our Telegram channel the small HOPR chatbot. So this is, if you want to send a message to that one, you can just send it very quickly, and then you will get something back, right? Yeah, so before we're gonna do the gaming session, we just wanted to share a little bit on the architectural part of HOPR. Some people are already asking us a couple of the technical questions, but the first part that we wanted to touch is a little bit on the technology that HOPR is based in, right? So HOPR uses a lot of different technologies for sending information, encrypting information, connecting to other nodes. The one that we wanted to talk very briefly this week is the session in particular is libp2p. So libp2p is the work of many years of research by multiple companies. You probably have heard them between Filecoin, Protocol Labs, IPFS. They are been developing this standard for peer-to-peer communication, right? So libp2p is a very extensible library that allows many developers in the world to actually create a communication channel between two individual peers or two or more without having to go through the hassles of the many of the challenges that trying to go through the usual network stack, right? So nowadays, if you see the current network infrastructure, you have a bunch of pipes, some centralized infrastructure that it's able to to make sure that you have some access. but of course there are some challenges on that, right? So somebody was asking about, okay, how what is this something that can be, um, is it censorship resistant? And rather than we say we're censorship resistant, yes or no, we want to point to the technology that we're using and some of the use cases that are being trying to solve, right? So the moment we have two peers being able to communicate between each other, the how easy it is to how hard or how easy it is to block this communication is completely different than if you have a centralized network where a government or let's say a private network within your office or within your school is able to block, right? So HOPR is based on libp2p. There is way more information about libp2p in their website. A lot of the very skilled developers have given way better introductions than the one that I have done. As I mentioned, we're not the first ones that do this. By far, we're not we're not trying to implement everything on our own. So we like to stand on the shoulder of giants, people that have done thousands and thousands of work to be able to solve up the challenge that we're doing and actually advance some of the projects that we're doing forward, right? So a lot of the work that HOPR is doing is on the privacy layer, on the enhancing, on the discovery, on the routing, on protecting your information as being transmitted. So the second part that I want to very quickly talk about before we jump directly to the gaming session that we are gonna play some games is about your open source work. So as you all know, HOPR is open source. All the technology that it's being developed right now is completely available at your disposal. We're based in Switzerland, but everything that you can see has a GPL version 3 license, which means that you can co-develop any derived work as long as the open source the code remains source and distributable. You can pretty much do some of the work. We're also are contributing to some of the projects that as I mentioned we were doing before, and in general you can see our progress, right? So if you check some of the repositories, our most important one is HOPR Core, where we are developing the protocol of the system. You can see our work on a daily basis, right? So this is very important for us as an open company, as a blockchain company as well, that we consider ourselves. We are very open about the work we're doing. We are showcasing the progresses that we're doing. We're showcasing the issues and tasks that our team does on a weekly, bi-weekly, daily basis. And we are able to show that. Internally, we have this small tool that it's called SendHop that pretty much connects with our GitHub repositories, and it's able to showcase a little bit of the work that we need to do. So for instance, this is a very small, quick overview of the things that we're doing, and you can at any point of time start exploring a little bit on the topics around it, right? So that's pretty much it from the architectural level. I'm gonna jump here, and I'm gonna leave like 1 or 2 minutes just on a small QA on some of the YouTube channels that on the YouTube channel. If you have made any comments over there, I will address it. If you have made any comments on our Telegram channel, you are I will also pick them up. Perfect. All right, so some people already on Telegram. They already they're already sending some messages to our chatbot. As I mentioned, this little chatbot over here. If you want to send some message, somebody already got a couple messages. You're already seeing some of the traffic, so that's pretty good. Just get familiar with the technology. You will also say something sometimes very foolish like frozen gray goldfish. The web server API, I think the web server takes a little bit of time to get connected, particularly. Let me see if I can restart very quickly our lovely HOPR web server thing, but it allows us, I think I can actually, so let me see if I can very quickly connect to one of our spare gRPC servers. So I think we can talk with one of the servers. Let me just, worst case scenario, I'm gonna try to get it working here. All right, so let's do something like this. Oh, you know what? I am a fool. I can just very quickly do this and listen to your conversation. So let's try to send a message to the chatbot. Oh, wrong API. Let's see. Let's grab a little bit of the chatbot over here. That probably will have it a little bit easier. And then let's send our address. Our address is, oh, we already have, there you go. Let's find our address over here. We're JJ5. Oh, I think this one is connected to a different network. That could be. Let's see. All right, so there you go. You cannot see it very well, but you can see that something happened over here on the corner, right? So what it's happening is that I was just trying to show you the web server API interaction. Very much what it's trying to do, I just sent in information and I was able to pick that information. So any message that now it's been sent to the chatbot API, I'm able to parse it, send it, get it as bytes. For instance, I can see the content that is being streamed. This is important not only for the common way of doing, but also for showcasing our capability to integrate with any technology that it's able to send data. Particularly in the blockchain, it's going to be very interesting. All right, good. So I think we have any more questions. Let me just very quickly brief. I think we have a couple messages over here. Okay, let's see. There's some people definitely playing around and sending some messages. That's really good. For us, it's very useful that you guys get familiar with the technology and start exploring around. All right, so we're gonna start with the games in 3 minutes. We're gonna give perhaps 10 minutes or so. We're gonna play some games, and then you're gonna have a chance to win some die. Because the time's a little bit tight, we're gonna try to sneak as many games as possible. We're gonna try to see if we can get as many people as possible to play around. It might not be necessarily very easy, but the idea is that we just have a good time, and for us it's very important because it gives us a very good idea on how we can actually work with the technology and move around. So let me just move over here. All right. So first we're gonna do a demo session for this. I think this is going to be really good. I'm gonna put the instructions in here, right? So the instructions are very clear. So you need to send a message to the little maze bot. So I'm gonna start the game over here already. Ooh, I think I'm just gonna go in here, and we're gonna send this message is HOPR mazebots address. Right, so sending messages over here, you can actually get some moves and actions on the project. So if you are paying attention to the live stream, you will be able to see how this little guy is moving. So we're gonna do just a quick demo session. There's also some of the HOPR team members that are joining. It will help me a little bit to move and stuff. But pretty much, again, so the only thing you need to do is we're gonna send a message with your address. It's very important you need to send your address because we'll register who is sending the message. We do that on the client side. The protocol has no idea, but on the little game is able to give us an idea. I'm gonna make this a little bit even bigger so we can have a very good idea of what is going on here. Okay. Yeah, I think it's good here. Then I'm gonna send my address. Okay, I think I overdid it perhaps a little bit. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna send my address. So my address is that one. It starts with the ZS, then allows me to go down. Oh, someone already made a move. Interesting. I'm gonna make another move and it's go down. So as you can see, someone else is making another move. So you can see here on my screen, there's I think 2 people. Yeah, 2 people already trying to send a move. So you need to make sure that this little guy over here is trying to get to these little red things, right? So if you are trying to send you don't need to send that. So you only need to send that. Oh, someone already made a good move. All right, so let's see. Let's move this little guy to the left. Oh, you can speed things a little bit if you just press the arrow button. So the arrow button on the chat allows me to move very quickly on the on the small chat. So someone already made a P1TG already made 2 good moves so far. Let's try to send another move. And then for instance, if I want to, I need to send it up. Oh, someone already sent it up. Let's see. Okay, right. Okay, so we have some action. All right, so let's see how many moves we can all put together to try this little. Oh, all right. So you can see, for instance, if you try to move the user back, it's gonna count itself as a bad move, right? So we're counting the good moves, because if people are just trying to move the little ball back and forward, then they're gonna count for moves that they perhaps not there. So I think we already got some stuff going on here. So okay, I think, oh no, I think, okay, this is fun because it also shows a little bit of a challenge, right? So you can now see all the people that are connected, people that are sending messages. Everything is almost in real time and gives you an idea of the connection that we're trying to do. The challenge, of course, here is to try to get to the little red thingy. So let me see if I can try to do that. All right, I'm gonna do a right. All right, so that's all right. Oh, I think I need to do an up. So you can see that I'm doing a little bit better now because, oh, someone did it a little bit fast, because I'm able to press the up arrow button, so that allows me to give an idea. Now you can already be thinking, all right, this is fun. I particularly like it. But it also gives a lot of options to automate in some of this stuff. So we already have some people going on. Okay, I think we already went too much to the right, so let's go one to the left. Yeah, that's gonna be counted as a bad move, but let me see. Okay. Oh. Let me see. Somebody with me to that little thingy. Okay, so let me see if I can, and just up. Oh wait, what? All right, perfect. So it was completed. So I'm gonna show you very quickly. So how many players we had and how many moves did we do? So let me just bar A. Let's gonna do very quickly. All right. So we had 5 players. Player P1TG managed to make 15 moves. I think I am. Let me check. I think I must have been. Yeah, I am BZS. So I managed to make 16 good moves. And I think we're gonna be doing that a little bit more. Awesome. So let's give it another try. I'm gonna restart the game, and now we're gonna do. We have some time to have some fun. So just for getting started. Again, we're gonna start with, I think we agreed, Sebastian. Let's go for 15 die. So at the end of the day, the person that gets the most amount of good moves. So what that means is that the moves that actually help the little ball to get to the end of the maze, we're gonna be sending them 15 die. Please make sure we're gonna communicate with you via your HOPR address to make sure that you have your address up and running. We're gonna be sending some messages over there. So of course, you don't need to give us any identity or to give us anything. We're doing this for fun and for testing, of course, our technology. So if you're ready, I'm just gonna give it another minute. So whenever it's 4:46, we'll click the start game, and then we're gonna be doing some. I'm just gonna restart it just to make sure that it's good. And we're gonna make sure that we're gonna play some dice. So if you already get the hands of it, we're gonna have some fun. I'm just gonna check if there's any comments on the YouTube. Video, I think all's looking good. Yeah. All right, we're gonna about to get it started. Let me see if you are able to see the maze. It's important, otherwise you will not have it. All right, fine. So let's have some fun. All right, so let's start it. I'm gonna leave it for a little bit of time, but if I see some people need some help, I'll start poking it around. So let me just check whether you can see. All right. So we have already P1 TD made a move. So that is the funny thing. You now somebody move it to the right, so you have to move it to the back to the left because that's already a move that was already counted. It's not gonna count. Let me see if I can help you over here. All right, let me see. Oh, wait. Let me just do a quick down. There you go. So you probably already by now figured some out. P1 TG, it's on the lead. All right, someone made a good move over there. P1 TG is on a roll. So let's do some chaos. Let's do some chaos. All right. So that's the interesting thing about building a distributed network, right? You don't know who might be joining, who might be doing. I'm noticing, so just from the logs very quickly, I'm noticing someone is sending the $sign and move. You don't need to send the $sign. You only need to send the letter. So let me say, I'm gonna just paste it really quickly. For whoever is sending, you just need to do without the move word. Perfect. All right. So we have already some people going on there. Let's not take the little guy over there. That might take a little. Let's see, we can do. All right, I'm gonna get involved now. So let's see, we can. All right, let's just speed things up a little bit. So make sure. I'm gonna give it some competition as well. It's a little bit tricky. It's not as easy as I think. Okay. It's way easier when I don't have to change the direction. I think you already figured that out. Let's see how many players we have. We have roughly 2-3 players. Oh, someone went to the left. LD. Again, you don't need to do move. You don't need to do. There's a person that keeps sending move, the word move. You don't need to send it. You can just send it. You can just send the letter. The letter is more than enough. Just do a space, then do the letter. Then that should be more than enough. Okay, so let's see. Let me just send this to the. All right, this is fun. Let me check some of the comments on YouTube that are already going on. So how to play? I'm just gonna copy the instructions very quickly. Yeah, there you go. Awesome. So, all right. So let me just save the scores. And then by now it's if you send everything will be recorded. Right, so we have as winners, let me just make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. We have, oh boy, I think this is not, you cannot see it, so I'm just gonna make this a little bit bigger. Actually, let me just do that in a separate screen. Okay. All right, so this was the result, PITG game 1. So for game 1 for 15 die, we have the winner is PITG. Perfect. So the HOPR team will reach you directly to reach you and send you 15 die. All right, so people are sending more messages. This particular game it's over, but we still get a time for more games. So now I'm gonna go and say open and second one, and this one is going to be for 20 die. So again, the goal, and just gonna paste the instructions here very quickly. Um, you need to send messages to this address. You need to move the ball. Make sure to put your own address. So your own address looks like this. If you don't remember, you need to use the my address move. Then you need to type the address here. So 1 second. Let me just, we have already one small winner here. Let me see. Let me just briefly sending. Please make sure that you have your orders, your HOPR node up and running. And we're gonna be starting with the next game. So another point of order, we took 200 seconds. I think we can do it better next time, right? So I'm gonna also play. I'm gonna be more aggressive. I would love to get also myself some 20 die. So let's get it started. All right. So oh, this one looked a little bit harder. All right. So someone already made a good move. That's a new player. Let me see. I'm gonna try to send us down. All right. Also, someone sends down. So the funny thing is, we can add. Let me see if I can disrupt this a little bit and send us to another place that we shouldn't go. So in many of the challenges that we have as a distributed network is that we need to collaborate with other people, and sometimes it's not very easy because, of course, sometimes we want to go in the right direction, but sometimes people will send us in the wrong direction. This is very similar to what happens sometimes in the blockchains when people are trying to front run us with transactions, when people are trying to scam us. This is very dangerous because, of course, sometimes you see people that are trying to pull in another direction. If everybody plays good and we all do fine, then everything is going to be amazing. But if not, then we get a little bit more problems. So I'm gonna be a little bit of a all right, so it's very interesting because you can see, so there's already it's a little bit of a tie. This person, the LHW, is getting there, but other people are actually doing. Let me just check if there's anybody struggling anymore with instructions. I think it looks good. No, I think everybody's getting. All right, perfect. Okay, we're back in the game. Let me see if I can also score some sweet points myself. Let's see. Oh, damn it. This is fun. All right, let me see. I think we're very close, so I'll just make sure that I manage to get everybody by the end. Oh, somebody said, oh, we're already getting a lot of traffic. So, so if you notice, if you try to get some extra moves going back and forward before we go to the end, it's not gonna let you, right? So we have some anti-spam mechanisms. All right, it seems that we don't want to go to the end, but it actually allows you to, let me see, almost there. That's actually smart. So it counts all the moves that you do before you go to the very end. I actually don't know what are, yeah, there you go. Perfect. All right, sounds good. Let me just do a quick check and see who were the players and who were the winners. Ooh, very quickly. All right, so I am guessing someone is already picking up some good skills at this. So 20 die. Perfect. So the winner of 20 die is the LXW. Congratulations, made 17 good moves. I'm gonna paste it very briefly. Sebastian will be right. Let me see. Okay, let me see if we can get just as a small comment. People that were trying to only the Google the HOPR team is gonna try to reach you, but make sure you have your HOPR node up and running. We have some more time for another last game. Let's do oh, this game 2. So let's do game 3. So the HOPR for 25 dice. So the HOPR team already reached me. We're not gonna disclose the address of the winners. We're gonna disclose it afterwards, after the HOPR team reaches them, because it seems that some people are having some fun already with the game. We have only very briefly for a small challenge. So let's try to do it as quickly as possible. All right, perfect. So let me just get it started again. Let's get the address and voila. All right. And the games begin. I'm actually gonna try to see if I can. Oh, no. Oh. All right, someone is. Perfect. I got the first one. So someone is already sending some messages. I'm gonna try to get this one. That was a good move. Yeah, no, it was a good move. Oh, somebody front run me in that one. So that's when we were developing this idea, this concept, it's very interesting because we get to see how multiple people interact. Of course, right now it's very simple because there's 2, 3, 4, 5 people. Imagine if there were 20, 30 people. This is a game that will be very hard to play with 20 to 30 people, right? So I think that our concept is to not only showcase the technology, but also to showcase the dynamics of what happens when you have an entire decentralized network being powered by multiple people, when there are some economic incentives as well, right? So at the end of the day, a very important part of HOPR is that we have some economic incentives. So when HOPR it will be launched for mainnet, and when we have some of the public release, there will be some economic incentives, right? So for us, it's very important to test this project, not only to have some fun, but also to have an idea of how multiple people trying to interact and work with each other are going to do, right? So again, this is for us very important, and this will only help us to get better and move forward with the protocol as a project. So I think there is a small race between a couple people. It's very close. We'll see. It's almost done. Let me just do a little bit of. All right. So that was completed. Perfect. I will just do that in a separate window over here. As the HOPR team told me, there's a couple people trying to game. So 1 second, I will show the results very briefly over here. Who managed to win? And let's see. Oh, we got a tie. No, we didn't get a tie. That will be boring. All right, so for 25 winner, 25 die is perfect. This address, there you go. If you know the address, the team will be the Sebastian and the rest of the team will reach you directly for the reward of 25 die. Yeah, so that was fun. That was pretty much it for this weekly session. And yeah, so just as final remarks before we expire our time, just some minor announcements. So the first one is please be aware that there are some people already trying to scam you on Telegram. Neither HOPR team members nor contributors or any person involved in the HOPR project will ever ask you for you to send any amount of digital money. If anything, we will reach you for perhaps paying you a bounty, perhaps we will like the work that you're doing, but at any point of time, the HOPR team will ask you for any amount of money. Please bear this in mind. If you have any questions, we have the official HOPR.net channel. Please make sure to ask that over there. We are planning on opening perhaps a Discord channel. The idea of this channel is to bring or drive a little bit more on the technical people and be able to drive a specific channel, specific communication now for the chatbot, for the web server, for the Maze bot. And last but not least, we will have more bounties on GitHub. So if you had some fun with MazeBot, with this little utility, I'm just gonna leave it up here in case you guys gonna play a little bit. If you had some fun over here with a little MazeBot, we're gonna be running some bounties that will not require for you to be online or be streaming. In general, we might in the past we have asked you to do perhaps something on Twitter, posted something online, or texting something, right? So we are going to give more of those bounties, and we're going to be introducing more and more games, right? At the end of the day, as we mentioned, the goal of the HOPR network is that we make it a very incentivized network. So for us, it's very important to see how people behave and react when there's some incentivization behind, and also how our network and a particular testnet, which is already live, is working. Perfect. With that, all that being said, I just want to thank you everybody for joining. We are going to be closing now the stream. Please follow us in our HOPR Twitter account. Please join us on the Telegram account. Any questions, comments, anything that might come, do not hesitate to reach us. Thank you everybody, and we'll be announcing, we're going to give a little bit more time the next time we announce our weekly session. Since that everybody is having some fun. Perfect. Thank you everybody, and have a nice one. Until next time.